want you right now. Can you turn the lights down? Look, it's right now. You wanna be it right now. Yeah, once again, I'm alone. Want to say it to me,
That song, man.
Today we have a special guest, a friend of mine, uh, business partner, musical partner, creative partner,
That's right.
Hugo Castillo.
That's right.
Hugo, tell the people a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself, man.
Thanks, man. My name is Hugo. I'm an engineer mainly, but I'm also a musician. I've been doing this since I was 15. I'm 31 right now. So I've been doing. I've had a lot of experiences in this craft, and it's a beautiful thing. I went to college. I was lucky enough that my parents supported me when I decided I was gonna be a musician. It was kind of hard for them to digest that idea,
Yeah.
but I was stubborn enough to convince them that I was gonna do it, with their help or without their help. So
Right.
I actually went to college early when I was 15 because I had the chance, and I was able to finish. I had to leave it until I finished high school, but I was able to finish two majors. One is in engineering, one in guitar playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here on our platform, man, we like to build a community where
Right.
creatives are able to look at your interview and take something from your
Right.
interview and add it to their creative journey.
Of course.
So, with that, man, I want to kind of start the tone off of the interview a little deeper than usual. And my question to you is, I want to ask you, if I told you 15 years ago that you would be in this position, what would you have told me?
I would have believed it because I always had a clear idea of where I wanted to go. Um, it doesn't really. Sometimes you don't really necessarily know the how, but you have to know where. I feel like when I believe in there's something bigger than us, whatever you want to call it. I'm not necessarily calling it a Christian God, but it's something that is a part of you, and the more clear you can be on your goals, and the more good you feel about realizing those goals, I feel like they come into existence, and they do come into existence. So I've been very very lucky to work with people like the Wu-Tang Clan,
Yeah.
like you know like Royce the 5'9". I did some mixing for them. I got my boy Lazarus.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of stuff, and I'm very thankful for it because I came to this country with almost nothing, just a guitar, and some clothes,
Yeah.
and that's how it built up. But I really knew from the beginning that no matter what people tell you, because sometimes it seems like you got all the odds against you. If you have an idea, and if you believe in yourself, it's gonna happen. And I think this is actually when it's at this period of my life is when it's really starting to grow even more, and I almost feel like it's exponential growth
Yeah.
because I changed my mindset to like focusing on things that are fucked. Everybody. I don't know if I can curse.
No, you can't. You
Okay.
can't.
of things that are not necessarily working for you. There's a lot of things. If we can take a today 2020, everybody has many reasons to complain. Everybody has all the reasons, and probably rightfully.
Yeah, millions of reasons, but yeah.
But the big but on this is like when you focus on the things that you do have. Like when I'm having a hard time, I look down and I'm really thankful that I have a couple legs. And I begin with that. You know, I have
Yeah.
2 legs that can walk.
Yeah.
So if I look back in 15, I can talk to Hugo in 15 and say, yeah, you gotta stay with it. And this is something I would tell with people that really want to do something that is out of the box,
Right.
like music or art or whatever it is. Yeah.
That's crazy you say that because I really feel that that's a part of being an artist is making nothing out of something. You know what I mean? So if you have a little bit of resources, it's like what you do with those little resources that make it like eye popping art. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's like that's real interesting that you brought that up. And also one thing I want to touch on is you moving to the States.
Yes.
So I know that you said that you always believed, but I know that with that type of transition, it's some days that some doubt might come into your mind.
Yeah.
But can you tell us the ups and downs of that transition? And
Of course.
and whatnot?
I believe that every process of evolution carries on some kind of awkwardness or uncomfortable feelings about where you're going. Sometimes it's a lot of pressure. It can be pain. It can be anxiety. When you're unconscious, you let it take over yourself, and you can create depression and anxiety. And the reason why I start with this note is because my immigration process was not easy at all. So there would be days that I would be terrified of looking in the mail if maybe I was rejected, maybe I was gonna get deported, and it was a thing that for me was a constant. It was a fear for sure. It was a fear because I came to America and everybody just opened their arms. That's something that is really rare. People in America love America, despite of what's happening outside. This is just me from my point of view, right? A lot of people might differ. But a lot of people extended their hand to me. A lot of people gave me a chance to succeed. A lot of people, when they saw my talent, instead of being threatened by me taking a position that might be theirs, they said, let's build a team. That's something that is beautiful and is something that is characteristic of the American spirit, I believe.
Yeah.
Right? So the ups is obviously that you have an actual, let's say a light at the end of the tunnel where you say, I got a goal, I want to do something. You actually, in this country, you can do it. So I believe it's worth the process of whatever I had to go through to today that I'm, legally a permanent resident. Is one of the proudest moments of my life when I received that letter to say you're good.
Yeah. No, I think we touched a little bit about that before we got the cameras rolling.
Right.
And you was just saying that this is like pretty much a land of opportunity.
It is.
And in Mexico City, that's where you're from, right?
Yeah.
What is it? $8 a day?
The minimum wage? Yeah,
minimum wage.
Around that area.
Yeah, and we complain about $8 an hour, you know what I'm saying, or $7, or however much it is.
I think that's a good starting point, but I think we always tend to think about the minimum denominator, which means you always think about the lesser that you can get. You never, this is where I think a lot of people are different. It's like when you're able to say, well, they may be making $8 an hour, but I'm making 30.
Right.
And I'm shooting to make 60 or whatever you want. You have to have a goal, but it's doable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's giving you a foundation to start. I do believe we have work to do towards improving the circumstances of the people who are starting, of people who want to get better. But I believe that we have to appreciate the things that we do have already.
Yeah. So do you think it's like it's something you can learn?
Absolutely.
Something you can learn.
Yes, I think we're all given that strive. I think it's part of the human spirit. I think it's a beautiful quote in the I think it's the Declaration of Independence where somebody said that you have the right to the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
That's the key, I think. The pursuit, the strive for something better. Maybe I was born fucked. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I was born rich, but I can still get better.
Richer,
I can help people too. I think that's the key for me. It's like once I go up, my people go up. We all go up.
Yeah.
That's the way it has to be.
Definitely. I wish a lot of more people thought like that, bro. That's like that's world changing like mindset for real, for real.
Yeah.
But to dial it back a little bit, I know we talked about uh if I could tell you 15 years ago, but let's talk about 15 years ago or so. What kind of music did you grow up listening to in your country?
Yeah, it was progressive rock. Interestingly enough, it was music in English, mainly from England.
Okay.
So Pink Floyd, King Crimson, yes, was music that I was listening all the time. I grew up with a single mom, so a lot of the things that I was dealing with came through the lyrics of these people, and I think that that definitely made an influence of the way that I communicate, which is speaking, music, the
Yeah.
way you move, the way you dress is influenced by this men that asked real questions, and they said, this is what's going on in society, but um, I also there's also something personal, like "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd is a great song. He says we're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, and I was like, damn, what the fuck is this is heavy, this is beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I was really comfortable with music in that area. Yeah.
Okay. So what's some of your favorite artists from that genre? I know you said Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Pink Floyd, yes, made a big impact on my life. King Crimson is a little bit less known. They're amazing musicians. Robert Fripp is one of my biggest influences in the world. And that also made it easier for me to expand to other genres. Like I love hip hop right now, but
Yeah.
that was not something I grew up listening to.
Right.
I knew about it. We
Yeah.
knew about Eminem, maybe in Mexico. We knew, like the people that are famous, and that's
Jay-Z.
it. But
Yeah.
but then you come here and you listen to people like I was really amazed and surprised when I heard Kendrick Lamar, for example. That was like what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Because the music is great, is so well done,
Next level.
and he's talking about things that everybody wants. It's like I feel like it's like what our generation is thinking, but in a poetic way.
Right, right. And it also to me it gives the people that's not capable of expressing themselves in that way, but they really feeling like that inside.
Yeah.
It give them an avenue. So like if you can't say that, just turn Kendrick on, bro. He'll say it for you. Just sing along.
And then when you start actually reciting, because you start poets and I feel like when you speak into existence, you're like a spell, like a magic spell. When he's doing it with rhyme, with rhythm, with intelligence, then that also affects you.
Yeah.
It also becomes a part of you. So when you can, when you can say the verses or the hook or whatever of one song and straight from the beginning to the end, I think that's a great thing to do to work out your brain, work
Yeah.
out ideas, and then people eventually end up taking their own ideas based on a beautiful form that some other people have established, like him.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
talk about hip hop too, man. I
Sure.
know you gave us a few of the music that you grew up on, but as
Yeah.
far as hip hop, what's some hip hop artists that influence you?
Well, I really like Kendrick, like I said. I really like there's another artist that is not very well known, Mike Stott. I really like him a lot. He was a part of my soundtrack of my life a few years ago. Um, Most recently, I really I really started to like Drake was a oh my god, Drake is another one that I know some people say that but I think Drake is great. I think
Yeah.
his music is amazing. The way that that his flow. I remember there was a track out of what is that record? The second record. Do you remember that second record is called? Take Care or Take.
Yeah.
There's a record song called Cameras.
Cameras.
And I remember I was smoking a blunt with my homies at the time, and they said like, listen to this record, and then he started just flowing with it, and I was just like, damn, this just sounds so like his flow is so effortless, and he's just like it makes you feel like he's so cool.
And every word, every phrase, every line is some shit you could tweet, you could put
Yeah.
under a caption.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I'm saying? So I love Drake too, bro. Like that's like one of my biggest influences. But
Yeah.
besides Drake, bro, I think Kanye is like a genius. Like,
Oh, definitely. I think I had a little bit of a, because obviously I was not doing my research as you should with some things, and you form an opinion before you really do a research. So I
yeah,
had the idea that Kanye was just this egocentrical man until like I really started digging into his music. Um, there's a song that we actually like really listen a lot to create a soundtrack that I was a part of that is called Black Skinheads.
mm-hmm.
That song is amazing.
Yeah.
Holy crap! And then the latest Christian record that he came out with, I was just like, wow. I just heard it on the car.
Fire.
The whole thing is
Yeah.
fuck, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Kanye is really really out there. I
definitely.
think so. Yeah.
I think he's the a great example of a artist that's supposed to just do what you want to do, bro. Do it how you want to do it, and and one thing I took from him that maybe other artists might not take, but he not scared to ask somebody to come in and help on a record or help on something. Like,
Yeah.
he'll go get a violinist or a piano, somebody to come in, or he'll, if he don't know how to write this song or write to this beat, he'll get somebody to come write. And I feel like that's still art too, but it's just a different form. It's a different avenue.
It's more valid. The fact that you can let your ego aside, because he's Kanye West, and you can say, that homie right there is playing guitar and I like what he's playing. Come over here and like, can you put that on my record?
Yeah, that's
It's
tight.
beautiful. I've seen the people who are most successful in this industry. They tend to think like that. They're able to go above their own ego and then think about the collective consciousness and say, this is what's happening, and people allow people to create, and they allow people to make them bigger instead of making them lesser.
Yeah,
That's the thing I've noticed with certain artists. Like, they like to make the engineers less so they can enhance themselves in front of their crowd or their people and be like, oh, I'm shitting on you because I'm the shit.
yeah,
People don't realize we have the power to make you sound great or to make
horrible.
you sound like shit.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
if you treat me like shit, no matter how much effort I put into it, because of my psyche is not 100%, you're not gonna sound 100%.
Yeah,
So if you build up your people, you treat your engineer with respect, you treat your fellow artists with respect, your songwriters, your everybody around you, you treat them with respect, you're gonna get bigger. And if you allow people to do great things on your music, it's gonna be even better.
yeah, that's a fact, bro. And that's crazy, cause it's just like, it go back to the saying, like when moms tell you treat the janitor just as good as
Yes.
you treat the principal.
Yes,
You
and
know?
it's true.
Yeah, it's like that's life. But it takes life to understand that, though. It takes experience and a lot of ups and downs and lessons for you to
I
get
think
it.
it takes a lot of you dealing with your own insecurities so you don't project it into somebody else.
Right.
And they could be happening to an engineer or an artist. Because I could be like, oh, I'm the best engineer. You don't know what the fuck you're talking when you're telling me to change this frequency, blah, blah, blah. But if you're able to listen to somebody, maybe you go beyond, maybe they say the wrong term, but you start to develop an intuition to hear what they really want, then they're going to love you. They're going to refer you to somebody else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to say, no, he's a dick. Don't go and see him. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, definitely. That's an important part too, bro. Building relationships. And,
Yes,
And the
definitely.
best way to build it is just being positive, bro. And like you say, just put the pride aside.
Yeah,
You know?
sharing. Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit,
Sure.
just a teensy bit, and talk about your first time being around the studio.
Oh man, I for sure can't remember that time. I must have been, I was 15 years old when I went into the first place that we record at, and it was just my friend doing a little bit of recording here and there. It was not a pros setup, but he was pretty good enough. Now he actually owns a pro recording studio in Mexico.
Yeah.
Then I went when I was 19 to probably the best studio at the time at the city. It was called Monte Cristo. That one changed everything. Again, that was another moment where I said, oh man, I can probably do this too. Because when you're young, you're thinking about many things.
Yeah.
I'm a guitar player too, so I love doing that. But when I saw that place, the way that it's treated, the way that everything has a purpose, and all these machines working, and once you see it on a big scale with the fucking SSL in front of you, that's something that really makes you go for it.
Inspired
Right?
you.
And I can remember walking in for sure and seeing this wooden walls and the drums in the middle and the piano, and the console and everything. We were just thinking, well, we're gonna make a record. That time that I started was because this singer had she was married to a lawyer that was pretty much sponsoring the whole project.
Mm-hmm.
So I made an audition to as a guitar player, and I got the gig. So I ended up becoming a band. It was really good. It was called Luva. It was a cool project. And then every time that I was working with an engineer or producer, anything that it was, because they were on the pro level,
Right.
I would look at what they were doing, and I would look at what I didn't like about them too. I would say, I'm not gonna treat, because some people treat people like shit.
Yeah,
When they're
definitely.
producers, they got the big ass name and shit.
Yeah.
They look at you down and they're like, this thing, they give you shit.
No, that's true.
When I started doing sessions as a guitar player, there's people that may not like you, and they try to put you down. They try to give you the worst schedules. They try to make you come really early in the morning or shit like that, and it can be tough. So you learn a lot about what not to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was around that time. Was that the first time you were making music of your own?
No, I've been making music of my own since I picked up the guitar when I was 11.
Okay. So 11. But when was the first time? Well, I know you have the band now, but have you ever made like your own record? Like,
No, I mean, I got ideas, but not really, and that's something I owe to myself.
okay.
I take care of everybody, and I forget to take care of myself. It's a thing.
So that's something we could be looking forward to in the near future.
Yes, definitely, yes.
Definitely. So I want to ask you, what's the different challenges between making music and then audio engineering? Like, what do they offer you differently creatively?
There's a major difference between creating the music and being an engineer. When you're making a music, you communicate, you speak up. When you're engineering, you mostly listen. So my job is to listen. I listen a lot. 90% of my job is to listen. Of course, you pull up plugins and they look cool, or you connect machines or whatever. But I have to listen, and that listening also goes to the vibe of the room, goes to whatever the person is going through, the artist is going through.
Yeah.
You kind of become a psychologist for a lot of people. And I've had to deal with people who are, they're drug dealers. I'm not going to say obviously names.
Yeah.
But I've seen people that once they become comfortable, they really open up a side that normally they don't show to the world, because they have to portray an image
Right.
of being the tough motherfucker,
Yeah.
But then you find that they actually have a side of a big humanity, and when these beautiful lyrics come out of people that just come out as tough, then you realize that humanity, and you have to be able to listen to find that thing, because people won't let their guard down. That's why it's a guard.
Yeah.
So if you listen a lot as an engineer, people will open up, and then something beautiful will happen. Now, in the artist way, the listening comes more from consciousness, because you got your techniques, and you use just your techniques to listen to whatever consciousness or self, or whatever you want to call it, is doing through you. So it's like I'm the flute.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
consciousness is whoever's playing that flute.
Okay. So pretty much you have to be the instrument, in a sense.
Right.
Damn, I never thought about it like
Mind
that,
is
bro.
an instrument at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the day. So we're not really a mind. So who are we? That's the one who creates.
Yeah, that's wild. That's some deep shit for y'all out there to think about, man.
Yeah.
All right, so I know you said when you got the letter that you for citizenship, that was your proudest moment. But
One of the proudest, yes.
yeah,
Yes,
one of your
yeah,
proudest
yeah.
moments. But let's talk about on the creative side.
Sure.
What's some of the highlights of your career?
Having the courage to start my own company
Okay.
was probably the most proud and the most challenging one, because when you're working for somebody else, it's easy to, you don't have to take responsibility of where the company is going. You don't have to think about where it's going to go. You don't have to come up with a creative way to make things work, to just not only make ends meet, but become a thriving, successful business. So being able to keep this operation going and foresee more growth in the near future, and being being respected by people who are starting, people in the middle, and celebrities and all sorts of things. You know, you can have. I have a lot of producers that are really, really, really well known that come and they're my friends. You know, and then we make music and I also got kids. I got a couple friends. I can't call them kids anymore, but they started recording with me when they were in 2013. And when I see them now, they're probably one of my assistant's favorite artists.
Yeah.
Their name is Braulio and King. They're amazing. And I saw them when they were trying to come up with bars, and they couldn't really like.
Yeah.
You know, it was when you hear it back, it sounds a little corny.
Yeah.
But when you hear the stuff they write now, I'm like, wow. You know, that's a problem. When you see the development of an artist from going to like, you know, being very, very a rough diamond into like a polished diamond or something, and you know, like that is like, wow.
So so you like seeing the evolvement of artists as you help them.
I got another one too before I forget that when I played and I wrote some of the Power Rangers soundtrack of the last movie and also Tomb Raider. But I remember that Power Rangers was one of those moments that is beautiful because my mom called me from Mexico City and she said, I went to see the movie and I heard your guitar on the fucking on the theater.
Damn.
And I was like, wow.
Nah, that's tight. That's tight.
Yeah.
So that's like that's kind of all of our missions is to get to that point where, you know, we're recognized on a higher level, you know, on a higher stage.
Yeah.
And everything.
Right.
But before all of that, it's always obstacles. So I want to talk about what were some of the obstacles leading up to your proudest moments? Like,
my biggest obstacle was my own unconscious mind because you sabotage yourself.
Yeah.
You doubt yourself. You get anxious. You focus on things that are not supposed to be. They're not gonna do any benefit from you. Maybe you hold grudges with somebody. Maybe you feel insecure. Maybe you feel threatened by an. You know, I remember that when I had the Wu-Tang coming over to the other studio, I was a little bit like, I don't want to say scared, but I was very alert.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was setting up the mic, I had a little issue that I would normally not want to have. Yeah. Nobody noticed because I fixed it, but it was because I was thinking too much. Overthinking is not good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Natural instincts is the best.
Yeah. Conscious, being alert.
Yeah.
Being here in the moment, because you could be working and you're thinking, oh, what am I gonna eat tomorrow? Oh shit. Oh man, I didn't see my girl. Oh fuck. You know, and you start thinking all these things.
Yeah.
And you may be missing on the best take of your life. You fucking know. You never know. That's why you always have to be aware in the moment, because you might be working on the best record of your life and you don't even know.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah. Damn. And I think about sometimes as far as like recording some of the records that I've recorded.
Yeah.
And when I think about it, it's like the shit that I super duper planned for never really come out the way that I super planned for it. But the shit I like low key was like unprepared for always come out better. And it's like weird.
Yes, I remember too, sir. I mean, when I started making the first batch of songs for the band that I have, I did most of the records. So when it was the time to present it for opinions, I thought that everything was 10 out of 10. And some people think it's maybe 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You have to say, and then maybe songs that you think, that song doesn't work at all, it becomes a fucking favorite, and you're like, oh Lord.
Yeah, bro. I never understand that shit. I never understand that.
Yeah.
No, but for our listeners out there, we're here today with Hugo Castillo. Hugo, can you plug the studio that we're recording? It's a beautiful studio.
Yeah,
man.
let me bring the image here I have, so y'all can check it out. This is the logo. This is the website. This is the Instagram, I think, and the Facebook. You can check it out there. The band and the studio have the same name. American Riviera Records is the studio. The band is the band. So you can find us on Spotify and iTunes and stuff like that. Yeah, check it out. Thank you for that. And you know, people that work here, I'm constantly putting them on the Instagram of the studio, and websites so people can hear each other.
Yeah.
Right? Because I got some fire records over here, man.
Yeah,
that I didn't write or anything, but I still think they're made by amazing people. So every time I'm trying to show people what we're doing here. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So if anybody is in the Las Vegas area,
Sure.
the Spring Valley area, you guys can book a session with Hugo. You can check him out on the website, or you can DM him also on Instagram. And it's real good quality, man. I actually use the studio, so
Thank you.
so yeah. So Hugo, now that we talked about that, I kind of want to get your mindset, bro, on what's the perfect, not perfect, nothing's perfect. So let's say, what's the smoothest productive session? Like, what's your idea of that? Like, artists come in.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, artists come in.
This is something I would love to tell, especially engineers that are starting, or even maybe who are not starting. Be prepared before your client comes in. Always. I like to have. I had the chance to work, for example, with Boys to Men, and at the Palms. It was, I think, last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember, but I remember that session specific because I arrived an hour early.
Mm-hmm.
And I set everything up. I checked the microphone with the assistant. Everything was ready to go. So when Nate came in, it was just press record and you really do your thing.
Yeah.
They don't have to be waiting on you.
Yeah.
I also did some stuff with Brother Polite in LA in NRG, which is another beautiful studio. Everybody there is awesome. And I left Vegas at 3 a.m. with everything packed with Save, who's my partner.
Yeah.
I got there an hour earlier before anybody, which was the downbeat was at 9 a.m. So I showed up at 8 a.m. and I set everything up. And same thing when it was time for them to create, because with the sessions with Polite was also creating. I also make beats. I play all the instruments that you guys hear on the guitar. I'm a guitar player mainly, but I program stuff. I do synthesizers, pianos, bass, drums. I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So I have to be ready for that. If you go to the studio, and this could be also an artist, or if you have the chance, or a producer, if you go to the studio with time and prepare and you have a plan of attack, is better. Your clients or your fellow artists are going to treat you better because they know that you come prepared.
Yeah.
If you come to the studio and you're late, that's bad. Terrible.
Terrible.
If you're, especially if you're the engineer, I think that Stevie Wonder and Frank Zappa used to fire people if you were like a minute late or something like that. I mean, I might be exaggerating, but I've heard stories that Zappa would give you a plane ticket. You're done. Thank you.
That's fucked up.
And Quincy does the same thing. He's like on time, right? So
yeah,
you have to be on time.
No, that's important though, and it's like everything plays a part in not making the session awkward. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Everything plays a part. So, like, for example, if I tell you like, hey bro, you'll turn this up or you'll turn this down, like the response is
important.
Yeah, it's very important. Or if you tell me to say something, or like, nah, bro, say that over. You ain't say that right.
Yeah, I would say for engineers who are doing that, because sometimes we say, oh, it doesn't matter because it's gonna get mixed anyway later. Just do it. Just if it doesn't take away, if it doesn't create latency, if it doesn't make you an issue, just do it, because if the artist hears what they want to hear, it's more likely they're gonna give you a better performance.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, don't be afraid to go out and get out. Always go extra, especially for people that respect you.
Yeah.
Always do your job, but for people that respect you and show appreciation, always go above.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your band, man.
Okay. Yeah.
But first, I want to talk about what's the difference between do you feel a sense of freedom when you're recording with your band versus recording like another artist?
Yeah. Because when I'm doing with the band, I have more of my personality can come through.
Okay.
Whereas when I'm working for somebody else, it does come through too, but it's more of like helping you get somewhere.
helping you like create your vision.
Exactly, helping somebody make a vision, and then out of that you can elaborate more. But there's something beautiful about starting with an idea and then developing it, and then a band can be like it's a relationship. It is a relationship, so it has to be communication, and you have to trust the people you're with. You have to be able to speak freely, and no matter what position you are, because some my people have more experience than others in your bands, but if you all communicate, you're working together for a reason, it will come out better. And just listen. Yeah.
So let's talk about how the band came about.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
I call him Robbie, but
Save.
Save. He's a pretty energetic guy.
It's an interesting story about how the band started, and actually my whole process to come into the States, because when I came to Vegas, I think I was 22. I just came to party with. I had a cousin that lived here, and Save was a friend of his, and he's a rock. He was a rock climbing instructor. Mm-hmm. So I was in Vegas, and I was wasted all the time, as you should probably the first time you come to Vegas, and I almost missed on the opportunity to meet him because I was hungover, and they said, "Lolly, we're gonna go rock climbing," and it was August. It was hot. And then I said, you know what? I don't even know if I'm ever going to be here again. Right. I was not planning on staying at the time. So we drove over he used to live in a beautiful area of Vegas called Summerlin, and his parents had a beautiful house there, really big, really, really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
And we pulled up, and he came out with his ropes, this energetic dude, like you said, and off we go. And the most curious thing about Save, the first impression, because I was still having issues trying to understand everything in English, like I was still translating in my mind. It was that he started singing harmonies to. First, I heard him singing "Whistle" by Flo Rida, and he was doing harmonies. And I was like, people don't normally just do harmonies. He's got some background.
Yeah.
And then once we go rock climbing, he was playing the Joshua Tree by U2, which was one of my favorite albums and bands. And then we started talking. It's like, hey man, what do you do? Like, you sing or, and then we ended up going back to his house, and it was, like I said, this fancy house, beautiful. His mom is amazing, and I come up all sweaty and shit, and then they got this beautiful grand piano in the living room, and then he starts singing some songs. Thank God I brought my computer with me. We put together a little demo, and then he showed it to a person that used to be his manager, and we got some studio time here in the church.
Okay.
And then, when Chris was his name, Chris is an amazing friend of mine now. When he heard what we were doing and he knew that I was going to be going back to Mexico, he said, if you're able to make these records, which is 2 or 3 songs, make them sound good, I'll help you to do your paperwork to come.
Oh, yeah.
And I went back to the studio as soon as I got out of the airplane. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's how it started. Then he went to the military for a few years, but he ended up coming back, and we started this company, we started the band again.
Yeah. No, that's fire, bro. Mm-hmm. I know my first time recording with you was at the other studio.
Yeah, I used to work at the Tone Factory.
Yeah, the Tone Factory.
It's a good place.
Did you have a band around that time? Was the band going around?
When I met you, no, he was gone to the military, and I was just focused on being the engineer over there, because that position required 100% of my time over there at the time. Yeah.
Another thing, talk to me a little bit about recording. Did you record Flavor Flav or just working with Flavor Flav?
Yeah, I remember Flav was so much fun. I had the opportunity to work on a track with Public Enemy that an artist from Korea named Sam. He went by Sammy Sam. I don't know his last name, but he was coming to sessions with me, and he brought Flavor Flav, and it was a lot of fun. He came out with the clock and shit. It was a lot, and we talked. He was a cool dude. And then when I was mixing that record that we did, I actually got to speak with Chuck D on the phone. That was pretty cool too.
Okay.
So I did, I technically did a Public Enemy record, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Him, and then you had work with Snoop Dogg as well too. What did
that was just I got a good friend of mine. His name is B Taylor. He gets features constantly. He's one of the last artists that the Motown legends developed, and he's got connections everywhere in the world. So I haven't met Snoop, but I constantly work with features that Snoop sends to him. The one amazing artist I don't know if you knew that I work with was Sleepy Brown
Sleep.
from Outkast.
Okay.
I like the way
Yeah.
Sleepy is the best. He's one of the best singers I've ever met. He and I used to ride a bicycle at the time in Vegas. So we would show up on the bicycle and be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, that's
And
fun.
it was beautiful because when I started the studio with Save, he was performing at the Super Bowl. That same day that we made the decision to start American Riviera Records, he was performing in the Super Bowl the night of the Patriots when Tom Brady won.
Wow. That's
So I
crazy.
saw him and I texted him. I was like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he's,
Yeah.
it's nice to see him. Yeah.
That's tight. You got a lot of great accolades, man, as far as just being around greatness and
Thanks.
just being around that. And I think that's an important part for artists looking to record with an engineer. It's like,
Yeah.
who has he been around? Like,
Yeah.
can I trust like what he's really telling me? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it could work if it's a mutual feeling, like if you guys are both starting together,
Yeah.
trying to evolve together. But for the most part, people are looking for people that's already.
Yeah, I had the chance to do a bunch of big records out there, and not only hip hop. Like I don't know if you got most people. Some people that look like heavy metal might know a band called Napalm Death, and Mitch Harris is the guitar player. He's one of my best friends. He actually came to my birthday party last year, and it's something always. He's always a great person. There's always people that you sometimes see on big stages or on TV or stuff, and you somehow already know them. You work with them, and that's great. And it does make people. I think one thing that makes people feel comfortable with that don't know me at all is that I work with big people and that I had the college education. That always helps to be like, oh well, I guess he's got a degree. I guess he must know a couple things, right?
Right. Is college important though for
It was very helpful.
It was helpful.
I think the way that I came to understand college and education like that in a school is that whatever it would take you a year to learn, you will learn it in 2 months. So it's like working out with a trainer. You could spend all your day at the gym, but if you don't know how to the right technique or you're developing your technique, it might take you longer to get results as if you just hire somebody who's specific. They've gone through many years of experience, both playing, teaching, or recording,
Yeah.
and they show you a thing. Even now, every time that I have free time, which is not a lot lately, but I go on Dave Pensado's Produce Like a Pro. I'm forgetting another one that I really like to do, that I really like to watch. But I go and check on these people on YouTube and their own websites and just learn new tricks.
Yeah.
You check what's the technology that's out there. The plugins are coming out all the time, so you check what they do, and they end up making your mix templates or your mix processes, whatever you proceed with, way better than if you just stick with the same shit for 10 years.
Definitely. And that's crazy that you say that because I always tell different artists that like you can't never stop learning. Like music isn't meant for you to like be like, all right, I know. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Music always change. There's no right or wrong way to do music. Like
Yeah, like right before you came, I was doing a mastering of a record that I basically did in a it's just a 2-track that I bounced or they bounced out that I was live mixing, and then when I brought it in and I did all my mastering process, you realize, oh man, this is tilted, this is like this, so you could come up with creative ideas. Maybe use something you didn't use before like that, and you get results. So making sure that I don't want to say get yourself in trouble, but get yourself in challenge.
yeah,
It's a good thing. Yeah.
definitely. So with all of the experiences that you've been through in
Mm-hmm.
your creative journey, your musical journey, a year from now, where would Hugo Castillo like to be?
A year into the future,
Yeah, a year in the future.
I think we're gonna be building a new studio, bigger place. I know that there's gonna be something happening with this record. It might be featuring something bigger, and hopefully I'll still be able to work with great people like you. And I love working with artists all the time. So every time somebody new comes around, I'm very thankful. So hopefully a lot of people will find a home here.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to create something cool and amazing. And all the other people that I have a couple of interns that are working here too and learning. I know that I can see them in the near future taking their own clients, which will make me very proud because
Yeah.
I think they deserve it. And hopefully we'll see a better world where people are more focused on the good thing.
Yeah, that's true, man. So this is one of the questions I always like to ask at the end.
Sure.
Um, it's a guy out there
Mm-hmm.
that's like, all right, I just listened to everything Hugo just said. I'm writing it down and shit, and I'm about to go. 2 weeks from now, shit not gonna really resonate for me. But they really, really got the passion, and they want to get started
Mm-hmm.
with their own whatever it is, clothes, painting, whatever it is. What's some advice to a creator out there that's looking to get started, that want to get started but don't know the direction, or even know that it's a possibility?
Be be brave enough to ask. Be brave enough to try things. Have a plan of being stable where you progress into your stuff. And the most important thing that I've learned for sure as a businessman is you have to take risks.
Yeah.
You have to. Nothing moves if you don't take a risk. You might fail, but if you learn, then it's not a failure anymore.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's some real shit.
Take a risk, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that resonates with our podcast name. Always chance it, you know.
Of course.
Always chance it, man.
Yeah, and learn to work smart. Sometimes you have to work hard, but sometimes you can work smart
Yeah.
and give yourself your own value.
And-
Once you start like me, I'm not gonna be charging the same thing that I charged 10 years ago,
Right.
Because
right.
you have to know when you're analyze yourself and establish your own the things that you really require for you to be successful.
Yeah, that's true. And always just look to get better too, bro. Always look to get better.
But better in a very specific way. Like I could say, for example, I want to get better at hip hop mixing. So just do it. And the one thing I would recommend if somebody wants to do that would be bring in reference tracks to your mix sessions,
Mm-hmm.
so you can get the low end right, the dynamics right, the vocals right, which is the most important thing in any song is always the vocals. I don't care what people say.
Yeah.
Always the vocals, get them right.
Yeah.
Get the 808s, right? The drums, big, everything. Learn to do those things, emulate. And if you get stuck, reach out to people. There's a lot of people now on Instagram, YouTube that are willing to answer your questions. I'll be more than happy than to answer questions if somebody has questions, somebody thinks they can learn something from me.
Yeah.
And just ask.
Yeah. So man, I appreciate you, bro, for coming on the
Thanks,
pod,
man.
bro, on the network, man.
My pleasure.
And it was a pleasure, bro, working with you. I don't know if I got to thank you publicly, but working with you on the album, bro. You
Yeah.
played a big part in like making it the vibe that I wanted it to be.
It's
So
a beautiful record.
Yeah, I appreciate you for that. For all our listeners out there, this is Hugo Castillo, and this is another episode of Always Chance It, brought to you by Real Chances Studio Network, a network that's nice as dice and full of opportunities. Hugo, can you plug your social medias for everybody out there?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram on HUCAST08. That's my Instagram name. That's the one that we mostly use for this music stuff, I guess. I'm also on Facebook as Hugo Cruz Castillo, but I think an Instagram is the best platform for this stuff. Also, American Riviera, we have videos out there. I might take on a project I share a lot of stuff and tips and tricks on my Instagram page. I explain what I use, certain processes for what, and specific plugins, specific stuff. So, if you guys want to check it out, it's great. I might be coming up with a series of more dynamical educational videos in the near future. I still haven't put it, in solid, but I'm thinking about releasing some of this knowledge too in videos and stuff. So I'll keep you updated on that.
That'd be tight, bro. Start a little YouTube channel or something.
Mhm.
That'd be tight. Nah.
Yeah.
So for everybody out there that's listening and our viewers as well, every Sunday you can listen or watch the Always Chance It podcast, Real Chances Studio Network. Hugo's interview will be available shortly, very shortly, and it'll be available on all the streaming platforms, and the visual will also be available via our YouTube channel, Real Chances Studio Network. Hugo, I want to thank you again, bro.
Thank you.
For giving us the opportunity to cover your story, bro.
Thank you.
Great answers, great energy and everything, man.
That's awesome. I'm blessed. Thank you.
And also, any artist that's in Vegas or planning to travel to Vegas soon, check in, man. Book you a studio session, bro. If it's shitty, you guys can, say something to me, man, because I sent you to him. But
Yeah.
I promise you guys won't be disappointed.
Let me know first.
All right. Checking in and checking out. Always chance it.
Thank you.